Still in those special classes? My sister Brenda's voice cut through the barbecue chatter like a blade, and suddenly the grilled chicken on my tongue tasted like copper. My jaw locked. 15 years of defending my son condensed into a single moment where I couldn't swallow, couldn't speak, couldn't do anything but feel heat spreading up from my chest to my face while I watched my boy's shoulders curl inward. Tyler sat next to me at the picnic table, his burger halfway to his mouth, frozen. He was 15 on the autism spectrum and had spent his entire life navigating moments exactly like this one. He set the burger down slowly, carefully, the way he did everything, with precision and intention. "They're good," he said quietly, not looking up. "I like my programming class." Programming. Brenda drew the word out like she was explaining something to a toddler. "That's nice. Very practical. You'll always have something to keep you busy." Her husband Kevin chuckled from across the table. Their 3 kids sat at the far end, absorbed in their phones, wearing clothes that cost more than my monthly grocery budget. Perfect grades, perfect activities, perfect college prospects. Brenda never missed a chance to remind everyone. "My name is Rachel. I'm 43 and I'm a financial consultant. This is the story of how I taught my sister the true cost of cruelty." "Actually," I said, keeping my voice level, "Tyler just won a regional coding competition, beat out 200 other students." Brenda smiled, that practice smile that never touched her eyes. "That's sweet. Participation trophies are so important for kids like him. Builds confidence." "It wasn't a participation trophy." I set down my fork carefully. "He placed first." "Well, sure, in his category." She waved her hand dismissively. "But let's be realistic, Rachel. Your son will always need help, extra support, special accommodations. That's just how it is." The table went silent. My mother suddenly became fascinated with the grill. My brother and his wife stared at their potato salad like it contained the secrets of the universe. Brenda's kids glanced up briefly from their screens, then went back to scrolling. Tyler's jaw tightened, that small tell he had when he was fighting back tears. His hands had stopped moving entirely. He sat completely still, which I knew from 15 years of being his mother was the most dangerous sign of all. "I'm just being honest," Brenda continued, feeding off the silence. "We can't all be exceptional. Some kids need more help than others. It's nobody's fault, but it's important to have realistic expectations about the future. Right, Kevin?" Kevin nodded. "Brenda's just trying to be helpful. She volunteers at the school, so she sees a lot of different kids." "Exactly." Brenda's tinkling laugh filled the backyard, the one she used when she wanted to pretend she was being lighthearted instead of vicious. "I see it all the time. Kids who need constant support, who'll probably never live independently, who'll always rely on family." She shrugged. "And that's okay. That's what family is for." Several people offered weak, uncomfortable chuckles. I watched my son's face turn red, watched his brilliant mind process what his aunt had just said about him in front of everyone he loved. "Maybe you're right," I said quietly. Brenda's eyebrows rose. "I'm glad you're being open to hearing this. I know it's hard, but it's better to face reality now than be disappointed later." "Could you excuse me? I need to make a phone call." I walked into the house, leaving my phone on the table. I didn't need to make a call. I needed to not say something that would make the next 30 years of family gatherings impossible. I needed to breathe. I needed to think very carefully about what I was about to do. Through the kitchen window, I watched Brenda holding court, probably elaborating on her educational philosophy. My mother looked miserable, but said nothing. Tyler had gotten up from the table and was sitting alone on the porch steps, his back rigid, his head down. I opened my laptop. The email I drafted was brief, professional, and devastating. The next morning, my phone rang at 8:30 a.m. Brenda's name flashed on the screen while I was making breakfast. I let it ring, then it rang again, and again. Finally, I answered. "What did you do?" Her voice was shrill, panicked in a way I'd never heard before. "Good morning, Brenda. What's wrong?" St. Augustine Academy called. They said the scholarship funding for all 3 of my kids has been withdrawn. Do you know anything about this? I poured my coffee slowly, watching the steam rise. "Why would I know anything about your kids' scholarships?" "Because you." She stopped. "Wait, That anonymous benefactor covering 70% of their tuition for 4 years. That was you. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't play games with me, Rachel. St. Augustine costs $45,000 per child per year. We can't afford all 3 without that scholarship. They said the benefactor withdrew all funding immediately. That's unfortunate. I took a sip. Have you considered public school? I hear they have excellent special education programs. Silence stretched across the line. This is about yesterday, isn't it? Brenda said finally. About what I said about Tyler. I don't recall you saying anything particularly memorable. I was just being honest. I was trying to help you set realistic expectations. And I'm being realistic about my own financial expectations. I've realized I need to be more careful about where I allocate my resources. I let that land before continuing. Speaking of which, I should probably mention that I've also canceled the monthly transfers I've been making to your account. Another long silence. The $5,000? Brenda whispered. Yes, the $5,000 I've been depositing every month for the past 3 years. I believe that's $180,000 total, give or take. I kept excellent records if you need documentation. But that money was we thought that was. You thought it was what? Inheritance from Grandma? A trust fund? I almost laughed. Oh, Brenda, that was me. Helping out my sister who was always complaining about how expensive private school was, how hard it was to maintain the lifestyle you wanted, how Kevin's job didn't quite cover everything. Her breathing had gone ragged on the other end of the line. Oh, and one more thing, I continued. I've also informed the country club that I'll be canceling the family membership I've been paying for, the one all of you have been using. I believe that's about $15,000 annually. I'm sure you can work out a new membership on your own. You can't do this. I absolutely can. Just like you can say whatever you want about my son, but you can't expect people to keep helping you when you treat their children like they're less than human. I didn't mean. Tyler is a good kid. You were just what? Being honest, being realistic? I let the words hang there. Funny how honesty only flows one direction in this family. A knock at my door. Through the window, I could see my mother's car in the driveway. Brenda, I have to go. Good luck with the school situation. I hear public school has wonderful programs for all kinds of students. Very inclusive. I hung up before she could respond. My mother stood on the porch looking worried and angry. Brenda just called me crying. She said you've pulled all your financial support. What's going on? Would you like some coffee, Mom? Don't deflect. Why are you doing this? I poured her a cup and handed it to her. Did Brenda tell you what she said to Tyler yesterday? She said she was being realistic about his future, that he took it the wrong way. Mom, she told a 15-year-old boy in front of everyone that he would always need help, that he'd never be independent. She laughed about it. My mother sighed. She didn't mean it that way. Then what way did she mean it? Tyler spent an hour crying in his room last night. An hour, Mom. My kid who barely cries about anything. So you're punishing her by taking away money she's been counting on? No. I'm stopping enabling someone who thinks it's acceptable to demean my child. Brenda has been living beyond her means for years. Those private school tuitions, that country club membership, the lifestyle she's been maintaining. It's all been subsidized by me. And she's been so confident in that support that she felt comfortable mocking the person providing it. But her children will suffer. St. Augustine is an excellent school. Her children will be fine. Public school is free and perfectly adequate. Millions of children receive excellent educations there every year, or she and Kevin can figure out how to actually afford the lifestyle they've chosen. That's what adults do. My mother stared into her coffee. She called you vindictive. I'm sure she did. Did she call herself anything? Did she acknowledge what she said to Tyler? Silence. That's what I thought. I took my cup back to the counter. Look, Mom, I love Brenda. She's my sister. But I've been quietly supporting her family for years while she treated mine as lesser, and I'm done. What do you want? An apology? I want her to understand that actions have consequences, that words matter, that you can't treat people like they're charity cases while you're actually the one being supported. My mother left shortly after, disappointed but no longer arguing. By noon, I had 6 more calls from Brenda, 3 texts from Kevin, and a long email from my brother asking me to reconsider. I responded to none of them. Tyler came into the kitchen around lunchtime. "Mom, why is Aunt Brenda texting me?" "What did she say?" He showed me his phone. The message read, "Tyler, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings yesterday. You're a very special boy. Please ask your mom to call me." "She wants you to convince me to give her money back," I said simply. He was quiet for a moment. "The money you've been giving them. I saw the bank statements on your desk a few months ago." I did. Past tense. Because of what she said about you, partly, but also because I was enabling her to live beyond her means while she looked down on us. Her kids are going to have to change schools, probably, or she and Kevin will figure out how to pay for it themselves. Yes. That's going to be hard for them. It will be, but that's not your responsibility to worry about. He nodded slowly, processing. She called me special in the text, like it's a bad thing. I know, buddy, I'm sorry. It's okay. He looked at me directly, something that had taken years of work for him to be comfortable doing. I know I'm different, but different doesn't mean less than. You taught me that. I pulled him into a hug. This brilliant, kind, underestimated kid who saw the world more clearly than most people ever would. "You know what's funny?" he said, pulling back. "Aunt Brenda's kids. They're in my online gaming group. We play together sometimes." "Really?" "Yeah, they're nice, but they're not actually that good at problem solving. I usually have to help them figure out the puzzles. They're smart in school stuff, but they can't think outside the box. Everything has to be exactly like they learned it. They get frustrated when things don't follow the rules they expect." I laughed despite myself. "Well, life rarely follows the rules we expect." "Like Dad," Tyler said quietly. "He didn't expect to get sick." I nodded, the familiar ache settling in my chest. Tyler's father, Marcus, had passed away from pancreatic cancer when Tyler was 3. It was one of the reasons I'd built my consulting business so aggressively. I'd had no choice but to become self-sufficient. "I barely remember him," Tyler continued, "but I remember he used to let me sit on his lap while he worked on his computer. Maybe that's why I like coding." "He would be so proud of you," I said. "First place out of 200. That evening, I got an email from St. Augustine's headmaster. Brenda had gone to the school demanding to know who the anonymous benefactor was. The headmaster politely informed her that anonymous donors had every right to redirect their philanthropy, and if she had concerns about paying tuition, they'd be happy to discuss payment plans or recommend public school options. I'd actually been funding scholarships for 3 other families at that school, too. Not just Brenda's kids. Those scholarships remained in place. I wasn't punishing innocent children. I was just done subsidizing my sister's superiority complex. 2 weeks later, Brenda showed up at my door unannounced. She looked exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back hastily, no makeup. I'd never seen her without makeup. "Can we talk?" she asked. I let her in, offered coffee. She declined. "The kids are starting at Jefferson next week," she said. "It's actually better than I thought." "That's good." She sat at my kitchen table, hands folded in front of her. "I'm sorry for what I said about Tyler. I was wrong." I waited. "I've been thinking about how I've been acting." She stared at her hands. I realized something. I was jealous. I hadn't expected that. "You've always been self-sufficient," she continued. "You raised Tyler alone, built your consulting business from nothing, never asked anyone for help. And I couldn't do that. I needed help constantly. And instead of being grateful, I resented you for being stronger than me." She looked up, tears in her eyes. "So I tried to find ways you were failing, and Tyler was an easy target because he's different. That's ugly, and I'm ashamed." I let her words sit in the space between us. "I'm not asking you to give me the money back," she said. "Kevin and I sat down and looked at our actual finances. We can't afford St. Augustine without help, but we can afford Jefferson. And maybe that's okay. Maybe my kids don't need a $45,000 education to turn out fine. They'll be fine. Kids are resilient. I know you don't trust this apology. I know it looks like I'm just here because of the money, but I need you to know that I see what I did. I see how I've been." She wiped her eyes. "And I'm going to do better." I nodded slowly. "Okay, I believe you want to do better. Whether you actually do remains to be seen. But I believe you want to." She stood to leave, then paused at the door. Tyler really won that competition, first place against 200 other kids. He really did. I wish I'd asked him about it. Actually asked, instead of dismissing it. "He's home. You could ask him now." She looked surprised, then hopeful. Would that be okay? That's up to Tyler. I led her down the hallway to Tyler's room, where he sat working on code, headphones around his neck. She knocked hesitantly on his open door. "Hey, Tyler, your mom said you won a coding competition. Could you? Tell me about it?" He looked up, suspicious at first. Then he started talking. Cautiously, then with growing enthusiasm as he explained the algorithm he'd developed, how he'd optimized it, how he'd solved a problem that had stumped most of the other competitors. Brenda listened, really listened, asked questions, genuine ones this time. It wasn't redemption, it wasn't full forgiveness, but it was a start. My mother called that night after hearing about Brenda's visit. She admitted she'd been wrong to pressure me into continuing support that enabled bad behavior. My brother sent a brief text. "I get it now. Sorry for the email." It wasn't much, but it was enough. Sometimes people need to lose something before they understand its value. Sometimes they need to face real consequences before they'll examine their behavior. And sometimes the best gift you can give someone isn't your continued support of their mistakes. It's the opportunity to learn from them. Brenda learned that lesson the expensive way, $180,000 expensive, but at least she learned it. As for Tyler, he's more than fine. He's thriving in his programming classes, building his portfolio, making friends in his online communities. He knows his worth now, not because everyone tells him he's special, but because he's proven it to himself. And me? I learned something too. That silence isn't kindness when someone you love is being hurt. That financial support without boundaries enables the worst behavior, and that sometimes the most loving thing you can do for your family is stop protecting them from the consequences of their own cruelty. If you're out there right now watching someone you love be diminished by people who should protect them, whether it's your child, your partner, your parent, I see you. That helpless rage you feel isn't weakness. It's love looking for a way to fight back. You don't have to stay silent. You don't have to keep enabling. And you definitely don't have to keep funding people who treat your family like they're less than. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't dramatic. It's simply deciding to stop giving people what they don't deserve. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and share your own experience in the comments. Subscribe if you want more real stories about setting boundaries and protecting the people who matter most. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles, zero cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.